Hey everybody, welcome back to Smirking Reviews. This is Rob here, and today we're just going to briefly give my recommendation for Critical Role's animated series on Prime Video, The Legend of Vox Machina Season 1. This is just my initial thoughts on this season and what I think of it and my recommendation. So anyway, there are gonna really not be any spoilers in this. It's just gonna be kind of vague stuff. But I have to say that I really, really, really liked this. This was fantastic, and I struggled. I am not a tabletop player. I've never played D&D. I have a lot of hobbies, as you can see, and I just don't think I had the time in my life for another hobby that would take up that much time. And so I've been trying to get into though is watching D&D because I really like what I have seen so far. And Critical Role is, I mean, right as of right now would probably be the top tier place to watch and the people to watch. And it doesn't hurt that I like all these voice actors because I'm big into, stuff with animation and I know voices and faces, and it's just really, really cool. I play a lot of video games, so a lot of these people I already know, and I've just been trying to break through into it, but it's been hard. It's been really hard. I've tried watching full episodes of Critical Role. I've tried watching clips. I tried watching this, and my initial reaction to the first few minutes of this was I was not in the right mindset for it. I did not like it. I turned it off. I kept trying to rewatch and rewatch, and it took me about 4 times to be just like, you know what? Stop having any preconceived notions of what this is supposed to be. Shut up and watch the show. Just get through like the first 3 episodes, and you'll know by then if you're gonna like this. You gotta give it more than the first few minutes, because they just kind of drop you right in, and if you don't know anything about this, you might be like, what is this? But as I quickly learned, this is a lot more than what I was thinking it was, which was a lot of kind of body humor, like gross out humor. There's a lot of dicks and fucks and and I just wasn't used to that tone. But boy, once it really gets going, and it gets going really quickly, boy did I fall in love with this. I really felt the stakes, and I usually don't feel stakes in cartoons. I think this is a very great example of long-form animation that you haven't really seen too often. It just kind of makes me think of shows like X-Men, the animated series, and Spider-Man, all that had like these long through stories. And I can tell that because this is based off of the quest that they did on a tabletop. So this is going to be one long through story, and just the beginning of it. I loved the writing. I loved most of the characters. I like how this first bit of this season, this first season really becomes a story about Percy, who, what a cool character. Very, very awesome. I feel like he's the standout, but he gets, since the story is a lot about, mostly about him in the end, with sprinklings of character development for everybody else throughout, especially like Pike and Keyleth, and I would say also, I think those are the 3 main ones that get a lot of character stuff. I think Vex and Scanlan and Grog get some, but not quite as much, I think, as those 3. And of all the characters, it's really hard for me to choose like a favorite. I do think that Vex gets a little bit less to do, but I have a feeling that everybody's going to get a chance to shine on this show. And I think that the way that they started with Percy, if this is like what is possible, if this is just the first arc, then holy crap, are we in for some really great seasons of television, because not only is the animation good, but the writing is good, the voice acting is good. You can tell that people give a crap about what they're doing here in an animated show. I can't know. I don't know how to explain how I feel, like how you can feel that, but it just shows and shines in every episode. It's funny. It's gleeful. Yeah, it's raunchy at times. But you know what? Once I got used to that tone and everything else, I was on board 100%. And I did not think I would get through it that fast. Because I don't like binging. But I really just couldn't stop. I thought I'd be finishing the last 3 episodes tomorrow. And nope, we're here today. So I want to definitely point out the voice acting cast. That is, of course, everybody on Critical Role, which is Matthew Mercer, Marisha Ray, Ashley Johnson, Laura Bailey, Liam O'Brien, Sam Riegel, Taliesin Jaffe, Travis Willingham, Esme Creed Miles, Carrie Payton from Walking Dead, Indira Varma, Stephanie Beatrice from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Darren DePaul, Rory McCann, and Dominic Monaghan. There are some really good voice actors in here and great actors in general. When you get to have the Hound in this, and his character fits. In fact, minor spoiler, but I feel like what happens to that character is really what should have happened to the Hound in Game of Thrones. I really thought something similar should have happened to the Hound on Game of Thrones. I really dug that. Dominic Monaghan's character in this was really good. The villains in this were really, really good. I like how this show started, and I like the pace of it, and I can tell, like, I feel like you can really feel the tabletop in this game. I start wondering, where were the choices? Where were the roles? Where were the things that happened? And that being said, that I think this show has now become the way that I'll be able to go back and watch everything that they did, because now I have context. Now I know these characters better. Now I know these people who do these characters better. And I think that I'll have more patience sitting through some of these 4-hour streams where I can catch up on this story, because I don't want to wait until season 2 to find out what happens next. So now, instead of just listening to whatever podcast I usually listen to, I'm going to be watching and listening to Critical Role, because that's just, I've now found this new outlet. And with all the different all the different quests that they've already done, they're on their 3rd campaign, right? There's a lot of content to watch. So if you are trying to get into Critical Role, I think this is a really good gateway drug to do it. Again, I want to say again how great this cast was. Scanlan, I thought, was going to be a problem for me, and my friend who's been who I've been coming to for advice on how to get into Critical Role. We've talked about all these characters and stuff, and I really appreciate him helping me kind of understand some of this stuff, because characters like Scanlan on the surface I didn't really like, but having some of his stuff explained to me by someone who's watched him a lot and watched that actor do him a lot, gave me, like, realized, I'm just looking at things through that kind of narrow way I've always seen sci-fi or fantasy, high fantasy, this kind of fantasy, Final Fantasy, that kind of feels like I wish Final Fantasy was a bit more like, to be honest with you. So anyway, that's just my thoughts on this. I really dug it. I think you guys are really going to like it too. And I'm actually going to recommend this to other people who aren't even that into animation. I don't think you have to be into animation to really like this, because, again, the tension, I really gave a crap about animated characters in this, and I barely knew them. And there were moments where I literally was on the edge of my seat. So anyway, that is what I thought of the first season of The Legend of Vox Machina from Critical Role. Again, kudos to everybody out there. Kudos that made this. I think it's fantastic. And I also want to thank everybody out there who watched this. So if you did like this, don't forget to hit the like button, comment, share, subscribe. Hit the bell for all notifications. We'll be back with more stuff eventually. This is Rob saying have a great day. Like what you like. And I'll see you next time. Bye.